Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sport. It's that time of year again where the football is back, baby. The Premier League is back, and we've already had match day one of the Premier League with some controversial results taking place in decision making. We're back again on Let's Talk Sport for some Premier League predictions. Last season we saw James Begorian come out on top of our predictions table. A respectable top four finish for myself, if memory serves me correctly. And in the bottom two was Joe Trosland and Miranda Stockwell facing a potential forfeit. It looked tight. Who was going to face that forfeit? And we had a cheeky look and we had Seb do the maths and the numbers. And, well, after some controversial, or what was deemed controversial scoring, Miranda had to face the forfeit for Let's Talk Sport for the predictions last year. She hasn't predicted this year. I presume it's down to that one, doing the forfeit last year. But yeah, she had to face a week on social media where she had Erling Braut Haaland. Yeah, this one right here of Erling Haaland as her profile picture. As you can see, it's funny. She's got a few DMs from people finding it absolutely hilarious. So yeah, she changed her Instagram photo to that of Erling Haaland as her punishment for finishing bottom of the not fantasy Premier League, sorry, of the predictions table. Fantasy Premier League on the brain because we are doing the Fantasy Premier League here at Let's Talk Sport. There will be stuff on that coming, so it's a nice little way to shoehorn that in. But yeah, with the predictions, well, what can I say? With the predictions, let's have a look and go to Stu Davis for his predictions early on. He's the first guy to send one in for me, so we're going to go to him first. Stu, take it away, lad.
Hi, these are my predictions for the Let's Talk Sport Premier League. Thank you, Joe Stanley, for inviting me to do this. The only decent Joe Stanley in the group chat. And first, I've got Man City. I just think they'll be far too strong. Second, I've got Man United. I think they've got the missing part of the puzzle with Onana being a great signing, and the overall signing has been quite decent. And third, just coming a bit short, I think it'll be Arsenal. And fourth place was a bit tough, but I've put Chelsea. I think once Pochettino gets a bit of time, and Chelsea are going to be a real strong outfit. In fifth place, I've got Liverpool. I think they've had a really disappointing transfer window, losing their captain, vice-captain, Fabinho, and then they've only got 2 players in, so not looking good for them at all. In sixth place, I think Newcastle. I think with Champions League football, they'll struggle a bit. Brighton, I got 7th. I just think De Zerbi's a great manager, so I think he's going to keep them in that area. And then followed by Tottenham, Villa, West Ham, Brentford, Palace, Fulham, Everton, and then don't try to do those quick, but just trying to do it like a short video clip. But then for the bottom 5, 6, that's where I think it's going to start getting close with like different teams where anything can happen. I think Burnley are going to stay up. I think and Company's got a good style of football, so I'm quite excited by them. I think Forest will be 16th, followed by Bournemouth 17th. I've got Wolves 18th. I think they've had a very disappointing transfer window. You can understand their manager going. And then Luton 19th. I just think they're just not had a strong enough window, and I just think their team's championship standard. And then 20th place, I've got Leicester. I got Sheffield United in last place. And for my top goal scorer, I've got it's got to be Alanga. No, I'm gonna do Erling Haaland. And then for most assists, I've got to say it's gonna be Trent. I think if he plays this new role, he should be like getting loads of assists for the Liverpool attacking players. It's going to be like a basketball game with Liverpool. They were conceding the goals. And then for most clean sheets, I'm going to say Onana, just because I think overall City might get the most clean sheets, but you never know about Pep and rotation. So those are my predictions for the 23-24 season. Thank you, Joe Stanley. You're beautiful.
Yeah, let's take a look at that table that Stu sent us across. Some interesting predictions there. I think everyone probably leave everyone will have, before going to the other people, probably have Luton in the bottom three. It's an easy choice. I do feel sorry for Luton fans, whoever's all potentially bombarding them with that. But yeah, first time for the league, you never know. They might surprise a few teams. He's gone for Sheffield United bottom. He did say last that threw a little hint at last year when he said that Burnley would be bottom of the table, and he forgot that Burnley weren't in the Premier League anymore. So yeah, and Elanga being top scorer was a little bit of a joke. Of course, he's gone for Erling Haaland. It's an easy choice with the top four Manchester City champions. And for Manchester United in second, he expects them to leapfrog Arsenal, and Arsenal to go into third and drop off a little bit with Chelsea fourth because he expects some. I mean, to be honest, with them signing Moses Caicedo and Lavia potentially coming in as well, and they're looking at it's Elise from Crystal Palace as well. They agreed, as I film this, to activate his release clause and bring him in. They've added some a lot of depth in that squad. They might get the point to financial fair play, whether that be this season, next season, I don't know. But they're building a good solid squad, got to change a proven manager. It's just should gone for the top four. For Liverpool fifth, just missing out on the top four there, which is an interesting one. It could go either way. Liverpool, they haven't done great business so far this window. As I filmed this video, they've only signed two players. Alexis McAllister, £35 million, absolute bargain. And Dominic Szoboszlai, £55 million, £60 million. Brilliant, brilliant signings. Those two signings are fantastic signings, but they do like the depth Liverpool do in that midfield. Hopefully, by the start of the Premier League season, they'll get another few players through the door, maybe another two midfielders. They need number six, that defensive midfielder. Hopefully, they'll get the two in, and maybe a central defender to put competition on Van Dijk, Canate, Matip as well, maybe Gomez, but I think Gomez will probably see more operated in right back positions in cup games this season rather than featuring heavily in the Premier League. On to my new guy that I've invited into the predictions this season. It's on to the mighty Stotto. Stotto, what are your thoughts on the Premier League this season?
Hello, I'm Stato, and these are my Premier League predictions for Let's Talk Sport. Firstly, I've got Man City winning the league. I think they're dominant, and nothing's really going to change. After that, I've got Man United just pipping Arsenal to second. I think it's going to be close, but yeah, Man United are just going to take it. After that, Newcastle, I don't think their transfer window has been quite as good, so they're going to stay in fourth. Liverpool have had a poor transfer window, so fifth. Then I've got a couple of underdogs, maybe. Aston Villa, I think they're going to continue their form from last season. Fulham, I think after that, are going to surprise a lot of people. And then into the mid-table, I've put Chelsea, Brighton, Tottenham, West Ham, Brentford, Everton. I think those kind of range, it could change a lot. I reckon Chelsea are going to be at the top of that, but honestly, between Brighton, Tottenham, West Ham, Brentford, Everton, it's going to be very, very close. And then the last 7 teams are all kind of going to be fighting against relegation, I think. But at the top, I've got Forest, Palace, Wolves, Burnley, and then to go down, Bournemouth, Sheffield United, and Luton. I think, yeah, again, just the teams that are coming up, they're going to struggle with the, quality, and I've put 2 of the 3 to go back down. As my top goal scorer, I think, unless he suffers a serious injury very early on in the season, Erling Haaland's just going to dominate. I don't even know if you can suggest anyone else to win it, to be honest. And then for my goalkeeper with the most clean sheets, I'm going to go for Nick Pope from Newcastle. So, thank you.
Yes, some very interesting predictions there from Stotto. Thanks, Stotto, for sending me yours in. Yeah, looking at your table, yeah, pretty much the same top 4 as Stu, apart from Stu has Chelsea in 4th place, you have Newcastle retaining their 4th place, and Liverpool in 5th. Your bottom 3, you've gone for Bournemouth, Sheffield United, and Luton. Not really many arguments there. I do quite like Bournemouth myself personally, and I like the business that they've done, but I can see that. You're going to go with Heartland cars. golden boot winner. Obvious choice again. Like you said, you can't really see anyone stopping him. It was a few seasons back, I might have said Mo Salah will be up there. I think he will be in golden boot contention, but I just can't see him hitting the 30-40 goal mark again. He didn't do it last couple of seasons, so I can't see him doing it this season. And then golden gloves, you've gone for Nick Pope, which is an interesting one. If Newcastle have a good season, a big season, I think Nick Pope winning the Golden Gloves. That's going to be a key one for Newcastle United in their pursuit of keeping in the top four, and then with their run, I think from Newcastle perspective, it's going to be interesting to see how they balance European football and the league as well as the cup competition. Because I think the owners, PIF, are now looking for silverware, especially with them getting to the Carabao Cup final last season. I think the next step for Newcastle is to win that first trophy for over 50 years, and then you know consistently get Champions League football, and maybe go into the knockout season, and maybe in 2 to 3 seasons be competing for that title. Last season when they got the top four, they definitely exceeded expectations. But yeah, I think with those predictions, there's not much to argue with Stotto's reasoning behind the predictions there. And thank you, Stotto, for joining today. Now on to my close friend. We've got the bro code, or should I say, the Joe code. Yeah, the second best Joe in the group, as Stuart just said in the video. As he said, how beautiful for you being. But yeah, it's the second best Joe in the group. It's after Joe Crosby. Take it away, Crosland, with your Premier League predictions.
Hello, it's Joe here, and I'm coming to you with my Premier League predictions for the upcoming season. I'm going to say I'll start with the bottom three. I've put Sheffield United to finish bottom. I think they've lost almost all of their best players from last year, or their most creative players, and I think that's a bold strategy which will unfortunately backfire on them. 19th, I've put Luton. Unfortunately, I want them to stay up. I think everyone does, but I just think the Premier League will be a bridge too far for them. 18th, I've put Wolves, just like Gary O'Neill, but I think they've really struggled off the pitch this summer. I don't think they've improved their squad from last season. I'm not convinced they've improved their manager from last season, although I think O'Neill's fine. I just think it's a different story when you're not firefighting anymore. You're asked to come in from the start, and it's, they're going to want a little bit more from him, I think. In terms of the top, I've put City's finish second, not first, second. I think Gundogan and Mahrez will be big losses. They were big game players. They really turned up when City needed them. I'm not sure they've upgraded on those two. I'm not sure Kovacic will bring the important goals like Gundogan, and I'm not sure. I just think Mahrez was quality. I think they'll miss him. I've put Arsenal to win the league. Anyone except City at this point. But I think Arsenal have improved their squad. I think they've added some depth they didn't have last season. I can see them going one step further. I certainly hope so. Third place, I've put Man United. I think they'll be closer to Arsenal than City, but not sure they'll have enough to get over the line. I think they need more goals throughout the squad, because otherwise you're asking Anthony, Sancho, Martial, are they going to score enough to really put on a title challenge? I'm not sure. And I've put Liverpool to close out the top four. I just think they improved towards the end of last season with Alexander-Arnold's new role, new sort of hybrid defence midfield role. I thought that improved them. Newcastle I think will finish fifth this season. I think they did extremely well to be in the Champions League, but not sure they've got a deep enough squad yet to compete on, the multiple fronts. They got the Champions League this season, which obviously they didn't have last year. But I think it'll come for Newcastle. I think we can all see that eventually Newcastle will be permanent fixtures in the top four, but not this season. I think they'll drop back a not catastrophically, just a little bit. So there we go. All the other is irrelevant. That's just the main takeaways.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, very interesting predictions there. The bottom three tend to be similar between our predictions so far. Everyone's predictions so far. Everyone's put Luton and Sheffield United in there. It's just that third team that's changed between everyone, really. Joe's gone for Wolves. He likes Larry O'Neill, but he just says, as he said, it's difficult. It's a lot difficult coming in from the start. Then, when you're in the fires and when you had that VAR controversy the other day against Manchester United as well, where they should have arguably had a penalty. They had 23 shots on goal as well. Couldn't get score goals. They struggled to score goals last season. Didn't score the goal against Manchester United the weekend. Then we're denied the penalty that should have been given. Stupid refereeing decisions, but that's football. It's got to be a big thing there. The top four, he's gone for Arsenal, Pepe and Manchester City. I do agree, Gundogan and Mars are going to be big misses for Manchester City. So with Chelsea picking them to release it, who they were sniffing around as a looking at as a replacement for Mahrez. The Paqueta stuff has not gone through yet. I don't think Paqueta will be leaving West Ham for Manchester City. Kovacic is aging, so I'm not convinced on that signing either. Gundogan's absolute quality. You could see he stepped up massively last season for them in big games, as you said, and claimed the FA Cup final as the Premier League. But let's be honest, for the big occasion, I think he's going to be big misses. Arsenal have invested well as well, and I think it's going to be interesting that tussle between David Raya and Ramsdale for the #1 position at Arsenal as well. I think that's key. Like Joe said, Newcastle have got enough squad depth to compete with the Champions League and the Premier League. I'm not sure. He said they'll drop off just a little bit, and I think it will be due to that squad depth. If they go further in the competition, obviously there's not been a Champions League group stage draw yet as we film this video, but as they go further along in that competition, it's going to be a lot harder for them to balance the two competitions. Plus, you'll chuck in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup twin and how can the draws are too, and so it's going to be difficult on that one. He's gone for Liverpool to make it into the top four as well, with obviously Manchester United and Manchester City. So that's very interesting. Now on to our next and final predictor. Before we get on to my predictions, it's Jamie Maguire, who's out in the wilderness somewhere, not the football wilderness, out in the wilderness doing his predictions on a nice little stroll. Over to you, Jamie.
Yes, thank you, Joe. It's me, Jamie Burgoyne, the best member of Let's Talk Sport, and last year's prediction champion, although Seb True isn't really one to admit that. I'm currently on my lunch break from work, and I'm not allowed to film in my workplace, so I am currently in a public footpath. So we'll see how this goes. There's a lot of public around, so we'll see how much of this I can get filmed now and go for a little walk. So in 20th place, I'm predicting Wolves to go down, rock bottom of the league. I feel they've lost a lot of good players. Nunes, Jimenez and Costa, just to name a few. I don't think they've recruited too well. I can see them going down with Sheffield in 19th, again losing Sander Berge. I don't feel they've recruited well, especially using Ndai as well. And then, of course, we all want Luton to stay up, but it's not going to happen, is it really? Unless they get some more players in the rest of the window. So I'm predicting them 18th. So the rest of the positions from 17th to 11th, I'm putting Forest at 17th, Palace at 16th, Burnley at 15th, Bournemouth at 14th, West Ham 13th, and then one that will really upset Seb True, Everton in 12th, and Fulham in 11th. Just missing out on the Euro spots in 7th to 10th. I'm going Aston Villa in 10th, Brentford in 9th, Newcastle in 8th, and Brighton in 7th. The top 6 spots now, I'm putting Chelsea in 6th and Spurs in 5th, just missing out on the Champions League. Liverpool in 4th, Man United in 3rd, Arsenal just missing out again in 2nd, and obviously City are going to win the league. So here we are, we're at the end. Final predictions: top scorer It's going to be Haaland, isn't it? It's got to be Haaland. I go a bit out there with my Golden Glove. Bernd Leno, great season last year, only getting better, and that is a solid Fulham defence. Wacky predictions. I won the predictions last year. I've got the golden touch. I think Richarlison's going to get 15 goals in the absence of Harry Kane, and Gary O'Neill's my first manager to get sacked, I think. Hope that helps, Stanners. Am I going to win again this year? Obviously. Take it easy and hope you enjoyed my walk.
Cheers, Jamie. Yeah, congratulations on last season. Will you win it again this year? Let's see. Yeah, in terms of your predictions, you've gone for Wolves at bottom of the table. You've got Sheffield United second bottom, which a lot of people have gone for. Them in the bottom two. And Luton 18th. We all hope that Luton do well and survive this season, but it's going to be a very, very tough one. They brought Ross Barkley, who's played with some experience in the Premier League. He's playing for Everton and Chelsea, playing at the top end during his spells there, and then obviously he's played for Nice in France most recently, and then come back to London to play for Luton. Forest 17th. Yeah, I think they'll struggle this season. They've got second season syndrome. You've got Palace, Burnley, Bournemouth, West Ham. You've got Everton 12, which is an interesting shout. I've not been convinced by their business so far, but I think if they get a few signs, then they should be okay. Fulham, Villa, Brentford, Newcastle. You've got 8 places. You really must think that the Champions League's going to hit them for 6th. Brighton 7th, Chelsea 6th. I agree with Chelsea in 6th place. Spurs 5th. Richarlison scored 15 goals, you said. Interesting one. I really think they're going to miss Harry Kane. It's the source of goals, and he took them out the mire last season, time and time again. I think if they spend that £100 million wisely, then it could be okay. I think Maddison's a great signing for Spurs. Postecoglou, sorry, if I can pronounce his name properly. Postecoglou likes to play fast, expansive, attacking football. And we saw that Celtic last couple of seasons where they won their division a couple of times. So, won the treble as well. I think we'll see some, given a couple of seasons, see Spurs playing some nice, attractive football. I think he's got the nucleus of a good side. Son's now the captain. He's looking to send Lloris on his bike as soon as someone bids the money for him. I think it's going to be an interesting. I don't quite think they'll get 5th this season, but you never know. You've got Liverpool 4th, Manchester United 3rd, Arsenal 2nd, and Manchester City win the league. City win the league. Yeah, obvious choice. I agree with you. Ireland top scorer. It's an interesting. But Bernd Leno, Golden Glove. You've gone for Fulham 11th, but Bernd Leno to win the Golden Glove. Interesting. He's a good goalkeeper. Proven track record in goal in the Premier League. Former Arsenal goalkeeper as well. Didn't have the best at times at the Emirates Stadium, but that was also with a rocky defence, so you can take a bit of that on the side. I think in terms of that, I think it's going to be interesting. Now on to my Premier League predictions and what I expect to happen. Now on to my Premier League predictions. I've gone for Luton bottom of the table, Sheffield United second bottom. Those two going down. Especially I agree with Gregorian on the fact that they've lost Sander Berger and Ndiaye. I think 2 big players for them. Got to be massively missed. I've got Nottingham Forest third from bottom. Sorry, Connor Porter. Thought I just can't see you doing well this season. Second season syndrome taking place, and with Taylor coming in as your goalkeeper, I just don't see it. I'm not convinced. Not convinced. I think last season you had Henderson and then you had Navas and 2 decent goalkeepers there, but I don't know. Wolves have gone for 17th. This was before Julian Lopetegui left, and the transfer business has not been fantastic. But I do like Gary O'Neill and with Joe Cousins and that one there. I think he can do something. I've gone Everton in 16th. Sean Dyche, I spoke to him the other week, and he wasn't very confident with Everton's chances this season when I had a little private conversation with him. I think because of the business, but they have done some business since then, so he's probably changed his mind a little bit. I think he's a good manager, he's a solid manager, he just played good football. He saved them last season, but I don't know, I just don't think they've got quite enough business. I've gone Burnley, he's a good quality manager. Bournemouth, like the football that they play, good team. Palace, I think, will do okay as well. Brentford, I think, will drop off a little bit this season. Same with West Ham. Fulham, 10th. Brighton, 9th. Tottenham 8th, Villa 7th. I think Villa will get European football again, and I think I can see them winning the Conference League. Chelsea in 6th. I know they've just bought Caicedo and they're getting Lavia in, but I think it still need time to gel. I'm not confident with them defensively. Newcastle 5th. I think they'll just get pipped from the top 4. I think the Champions League additional games there will cause them a few problems and they'll probably pick up a few injuries throughout the season. Gone United 4th and Liverpool 3rd. Now, that could go either way. It just depends on the business done from now until the end of the transfer window by Liverpool. If they do get those 3 midfielders and defender easily in the top 4, if not, it'll be a right dog fight between them. Manchester United and Newcastle for that 4th spot. I think second place is Arsenal being pipped to the title by Manchester City. I think City will be the first team to win 4 Premier Leagues in a row, but Mikel Arteta's Arsenal will push them far in terms of Golden Boot. Salah is always up there normally. I would have said Harry Kane, but he's gone. So yeah, can't really see anyone other than Erling Haaland at the top. He's already flipping got 2 goals in the opening game of the season. So what more can you expect in terms of that one? Golden Gloves, Alisson Becker's normally up there, Edison's up there, which comes in hand with competing for the title. But the interesting one is, I'm going to go for Ramba. No, not that one. No, not that one either. But this one, yeah, Aaron Ramsdale in goal for Arsenal. He's got David Raya as competition. He looked fantastic in the Community Shield. He looks hungry. He was a saviour for Arsenal at times last season in games that they probably should have lost, and they've gone on to win them in the end with the attack that they had. So yeah, I'm going to go for Ramsdale for that one. First manager to be sacked, maybe Moisey. I like David Moisey. He's done wonders at West Ham. He won the Conference League last season, and they've done some good business after replacing Declan Rice after they sold him to Arsenal. They brought James Ward-Prowse in. Recently agreed to for Kudus. They brought Alvarez in. Defensively, though, the Maguire deal has stalled and fallen through now completely as I'm doing this video. So they need to bring in a centre back there. I think the midfielders that they've brought in to replace Rice have been fantastic. But I think in terms of defensively, they're still lacking something in that central defensive area. And I think some decent left cover as well. I like Cresswell, but he's getting on. I'm still not fully confident with Emerson Palmieri there, so I think Moisey could be the first manager to go. Either him or sadly Steve Cooper, who I'm a big fan of, but the Forest owner's got a habit of wielding the axe when things don't go well. We saw difference last season from him, but I'm not fully convinced. So yeah, I think City will be champions. Unfortunately, Luton finishing bottom. Sheffield United will be second bottom and Forest third bottom, with Villa, Chelsea, Newcastle, Manchester United, Liverpool and Arsenal all getting European football. Brighton will drop ever so slightly, but that's because they've lost their star players in Alexis McAllister and Moses Caicedo. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one. Thank you for everyone for their predictions. Let us know your predictions in the comments below. We'll see who's doing the forfeit this year and whether the bowling can come out on top. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to Let's Talk Sport, and we'll see you all on the channel very soon.